Hi guys, I hope you're all well and happy. So I may actually be playing my first sort of games of proper Warhammer soon. If you've been following my channel, then you'll know that I'm very much interested in the kill teams, or Hero Quest, or Dungeons and Dragons. And I've had this channel for about 4 years now, and I've never played a full game of Warhammer. That could be changing very soon. But obviously, to play the game, I am going to need a lot of terrain. And whilst I could 3D print most of it, or if not all of it, yeah, it can take a long time printing and be quite expensive. So I'm going to be making some terrain, but not resin printing, but with this. Some MDF that's 3mm thick. I've used this kind of stuff quite a bit now to make a variety of boxes to hold all my miniatures in. Some little diorama frames and all that kind of stuff. And this stuff is super cheap. It's about $1, maybe even less per sheet. And these are A3 in size. And this thickness is easy enough to cut with a good old Stanley blade. But obviously I'm not going to use a blade. I'm going to use my Creality Falcon 2 Pro laser engraver. As this thing's just awesome. Unfortunately though, I have to set it up every time I need to use it, as this does actually live in a little cupboard. And I've got this little makeshift table that I get out and pop it on. Luckily though, it really doesn't take too long at all to set up, as there's only a few things I need to connect, like the camera here and the actual machine itself to my PC. I've attached the air pump, and now it is a case of, switching the thing on. But I should have some exciting news coming up fairly soon, where I'm going to be making a studio up. So yeah, I'll finally have a dedicated space for all my laser engravers, 3D printers, desk, and anything else I can get hold of. So just like 3D printing, one of my first places to go, and that's Thingiverse. Loads and lovely things on there for free. And there's this one lovely person, goes by the name of Bilbo Stomper, and as you can see, yeah, loads of files to do with, terrain, which is just awesome. All very modular as well, which is great because you can mix and match, add bits to each other. There's all kinds of sort of different levels and walkways and all the rest of it. And as you can see, yeah, 4 pages worth of the stuff, all free, which is just amazing. So big shout out and thank you to Bilbo Stomper. There's a link down below to where you can sort of see these files and get hold of them. So I downloaded one of the nice large round towers, and then yeah, simply a case of just taking it into the software. And the one I use is Lightburn. So really easy to use and works a dream with the Creality Falcon 2 Pro laser engraver. So the file, obviously, as you can see, I just dragged it onto the software. It's a little bit too big for what I'm going to print it out on. So the sheets I've got are A3 in size and 3mm sort of thickness. But the good thing is here, so the files come across, and it is easy enough to move the file around. As you can see, this is why I love the camera being inside this Creality laser engraver, as you can see exactly what it is you're going to engrave or cut onto. So obviously I'm not going to fit it all in one go, so I'm moving it around to get sort of as much as I can on, and then it is just simply a case of sort of clicking on other items or dragging a box around the other items, and then just deleting them. I say this software really is nice and simple. Like everything, guys, if I can do it, you guys certainly can. And I'll always talk to people in layman's terms because, that's the only terms I understand. So as you can see, yeah, I am literally going around drawing boxes over the areas I don't want, and then just sort of cutting them out. But the good thing is I can just hit the back button and everything I've just cut out will, miraculously appear, which is really good. So it also has all the settings needed. Obviously 2 sort of settings here. One actually does the laser engraving, and the other one does the cutting, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, it is simply a case of hitting that start button and watching it go. And this is the other reason why I love the little camera here, because you can see that it is going and starting. Obviously we'll show some footage of it actually doing its business. I've speeded this up something rotten though, guys. Although to be fair, it did only take just over 10 minutes. Although watching it speeded up is, yeah, definitely more satisfying. And yeah, love this laser engraver. Where I've got it set up, there is a tube out the back and a little exhaust sort of fan thingy. So it sucks all the bad air, obviously the wood cutting air, out and out the window. And for having it in something like indoors where I've currently got it, it's just perfect. I say I am looking to get in my own little sort of, well, a workspace. So yeah, having things set up all the time is just going to be awesome. There we go. Yeah, so about 10 minutes just over and everything's cut out perfectly. So I appreciate there was a big outlay in, well, purchasing a laser engraver like this. So this is the Creality Falcon 2 Pro. Obviously, as you can see, fully enclosed. It's a 40-watt laser engraver. So this thing can cut about 20 millimeters in one pass, which is just nuts. So once you get past the initial outlay of one of these, the savings you get back by just using it. I say these kind of terrain pieces, it's a big old chunky bit of terrain, and it's under $3. The great thing with these kind of things, the laser engraver, you could set up some sort of sideline business and sell things on Etsy, whether it's laser engraved items or making sort of full terrain like this. Yeah, you can definitely sell bits and pieces. And then it's just a case of going back into the software, and well, say you can go backwards in this. So all those bits that I deleted, I can go back so they all appear again, and then I can delete the bits that I have just cut, and yeah, rearrange the rest again. I say this is where having that camera is just awesome. I have used some old laser engravers in the past, didn't have the camera on, and basically it meant you had to keep moving between the PC and the laser engraver just to move that bit of wood in the right place, or to keep moving whatever it was you wanted to cut. So yeah, being able to get that update on where, well, your item is that you're going to sort of cut from is really good. And the other good thing with this is any bits that you do sort of cut, quite often you'll have loads of little bits left over here and there. And by that I mean on each sort of item that I cut. So the A3 sheets, I cut bits out. There's always going to be gaps, so little bits here and there of MDF left. And in the past I have just thrown them in the bin, because to try and line something up on a small bit is very difficult. But with the camera, yeah, it's a doddle. So I managed to get almost everything done on 2 sheets. There's just one item left as a large circular bit. So this is something that I used ages ago to cut some bits out. And I say this is where having bits of MDF left over, it's always worth keeping every single bit, just because, well, you can cut bits out that you may need. So yeah, so this is the bit that I needed to cut out. Obviously when I refresh the screen, I can see exactly where the item is to line up. So as you can see, I need to actually move the board, because it goes actually off the little display bit that I can actually cut on. But that's easy enough to do, because obviously I'll just get up, move over to it, and move it across that little bit. As you can see, my hands are in the screen in that top right little camera. So I moved over, come back to my desk, hit the refresh button again. So this just shows me exactly where the bit of wood is now, and then yeah, we can see that it's lined up perfectly. And then we can just set it off to, yeah, cut up the last piece. I say it's pretty cool the way these are designed. They're kind of like slot together, which is really good. You can obviously glue them, because I did glue mine. But yeah, and the fact that you can modify these, so you could sort of do more cuttings into this. You can resize this. Obviously you have to be aware that the MDF is currently 3mm, so if you do change anything, you've got to make sure that you change, well, all the connections and bits that go into each other to accommodate that new size. And then yeah, there we go. So this is where, yeah, I really am not going to be wasting any MDF now, because every single bit I can use to cut off, say, little bits here and there, or sometimes, say in this case, a rather large bit. And then it's just a case of taking all those wonderfully cut pieces over to my desk and, well, assemble it like a jigsaw puzzle. And as you can see, yeah, there's a lot of pieces cut out. So it's about 25 minutes ish to cut all this out, which is pretty cool. So you can resize this, make it bigger, make it smaller. Just got to take into consideration the thickness that you are using. But luckily that lovely Bilbo Stomper has made a nice easy assembly instructions for all this stuff. And it's the same with all the other scattered terrain that you can find on their page over at Thingiverse. So yeah, just follow the simple step-by-step guides and you can't go wrong. It's just a shame I didn't take my own advice, as well. I followed the first guide, which was basically putting in these sort of uprights, and they're all kind of like numbered but without having numbers on them, if that makes any sense. There's a specific order these go in. So this bit I followed to the T. It's just some of the other bits I kind of thought I could just do it on my own. So guys, when it comes to building instructions, yeah, I would say definitely always follow the things. Even if you think you know what you're doing, sometimes you don't. So especially when I was gluing this all together, I kind of got carried away and didn't think I needed the instructions anymore. And yeah, just started gluing some side bits on. Just because, well, this is where they go. Unfortunately, I was putting them on in the wrong order. As in, something else should have gone first before gluing these bits. So yeah, these bits I had to kind of snap them at the top. Purely because, well, the glue is super glue. And it was actually living up to its name with this stuff. And yeah, so next time, follow the instructions, John. Because yeah, this bit doesn't go on anymore. So yeah, I had to break some bits off. But the good thing is, with this kind of scatter terrain, it doesn't matter if it looks a bit beaten, broken, and, well, definitely damaged. Because, yeah, that looks good. It looks like it's meant to be damaged. But, yeah, follow the instructions next time. So, after a little mistake, I did go back to follow the instructions. And, yeah, lo and behold, everything went along perfectly. And this is what I've got. And, yeah, absolutely love it. So, obviously, this does have kind of like rivet kind of things looking on it. But obviously when I paint this, well, you're not going to see them at all. So, one last little thing before I do start painting, I'm going to stick on these. These are like diamond art painting thingies, if that makes sense. Yeah, you get a little dabber with the things, which makes it easy to pick them up and place them down. So, literally, I went over the whole of this, wherever it looked like they was meant to have sort of rivets. Yeah, I put some, well, these little plastic diamond, what's it do breeds, as they do look like kind of rivets. Obviously tricky to pick up, but once you do, that's the problem though. When obviously you're filming, I'm trying to do things even quicker, and that's when I kind of end up doing things, well, slower. So yeah, guys, when you're filming yourself, it does take a whole lot longer because you've got to set the camera up in a position where it can see what you're doing, but you can still see what you're doing. And bear in mind, my camera, well, I say my camera, it's the old cheap phone, or old phone, it is literally almost right in front of my face. So sometimes I am having to sort of poke my head over the top, round the side, or even sometimes underneath. So that combined with me trying to pick up these fiddly things, basically I'm just giving you an excuse why I found this bit so difficult. But it was worth doing, and luckily there wasn't too many rivets. It wasn't like this thing had 1,000. If anything, it might not have even had 100. So yeah. Anyway, skip to the next bit. Let's get on with the painting. So I primed it all in black using the the only matte black that I ever use, and that's by the Colour Forge. There's links down below, guys. And so this stuff covers everything perfectly, and it really is a true matte black. Although I have started using all their other range of colours for the old slap chop paint technique, which is pretty cool. So with this one, sometimes I like trying out different ways of painting. I've always got my go-to ways of painting, but on this one I thought I'd try something a little bit different, as in I did things in a different order. So as you can see, obviously primed in black, that's always going to be the case, but rather than going over with a normal colour, I've decided to go over and do some dry brushing with some silver. So I am pretty much doing all the things I'm going to show you now in kind of like the reverse order. Again, just because I wanted to try something different. So I've done the dry brushing with silver, and then I want to add loads of rust. And obviously there's only one place I go to for rust, and that's this magic bottle called, well, Dirty Down Rust. Yeah, you'll have seen me use this lots. So this is a big bottle, and well, I'm down to about the last quarter of it, just because I use it definitely not sparingly, liberally. Yeah, I'd slather this stuff on. So with the rust, I generally get it out onto the little cap lid there, as you can see. I put some on neat, and then using the water, so it sort of dilutes the brush down, dilutes the Dirty Down Rust stuff, and also this helps get some drips going as well, which is really, really cool. So this stuff normally takes, I don't know, a good 10-20 minutes to dry, depending on the sort of room temperature. Because of putting it on the wood, it kind of like soaked into the wood really quick, and it dried a whole lot quicker than it normally does. But that's fine. But again, that's why I like adding the water, because this just sort of dilutes bits down, makes it sort of streaky, and gives you a variation in how it looks. So you get some bits that have got like the full Dirty Down rust on, so they're really rusty, and other bits, well, not so much. So went over the whole of this in this sort of manner, and it dried really quick, but then went like this. So it didn't really have the kind of like rust look that it typically has. Doesn't look too bad, but yeah, definitely it's more rustier than this. So I try to bring it back by dry brushing again silver. Again, guys, short story long. Trying to do this in reverse just to sort of see how it would look, because I wanted to try and get the rust underneath and then put the colour on top. You'll see in a minute when I put the colour on top, it didn't really come to plan kind of how I thought it would. But like I'm always saying, yeah, you got to try these things just in case it works better than how you normally do it. So say typically when I'm doing these kind of things, I will do the priming in black. Obviously you always do that. Then I'd paint it in whatever colour I want to do it. Then I would do the Dirty Down rust, and then I would do the sort of the silver dry brushing over the top. But yeah, this one I thought I'd have a go doing it in reverse, just because I wanted to see if I could make it look more like the rust was actually underneath the paint. Yeah, I mean, I may have just been doing it wrong. Maybe this is the way you're meant to do it. I just wasn't doing it in a very good sort of fashion. I even added like a darker green over the top of the green, just to make it look like some areas had even faded. Again, I really was trying to sort of do something a bit different here. But I kind of felt the more I was doing, the less it was looking how it was in my head. Yeah, sometimes in my head things look so much better. So to try and make things better, yeah, I thought let's stick on some, well, not stick on, but do some sort of like transfers. And I've got these ones, you just sort of cut them out, sheets of plastic, so they're reusable, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, good old dib dab, here we go. Yeah, job done. So I added quite a few of these sort of around the place, just again make it look a bit more kind of realistic in the fact that it's, well, obviously it's not quite realistic. So yeah, some good old hazard warning sort of things down the bottom as well. But then when I kind of looked at the thing as a whole, it looked too separated, as in those two greens I did, and the rust underneath looked more like a brown rather than a rust. So to try and tie everything in together, I'm now going over the whole thing with a green wash. So this does teach me not to mess about in the future, stick with what I know, stick with what works. Although that being said, I never will, because I do like trying new things. Because as I always say, if you don't try, you'll never know. And you might find an easy way or a better way of doing something. In this case, no. We'll stick to the basics, put the colour on first, then the Dirty Down rust, and then finish it all off with a nice bit of silver dry brushing. So yeah, I kind of spent a lot longer on this project than I probably should have done, because I was repeating the steps kind of over and over again, and I must admit, if anything, it was kind of making me laugh, the fact of when I got to this stage, it was like, yeah, this is what I should have just done at the very beginning. And then to finish it off, yeah, dry brush silver again. So in this case, it is kind of like third time lucky with the dry brushing, but we got there in the end. And yeah, I'm definitely pleased with how this has turned out. And I am looking forward to, well, making more scatter terrain. As I say, I really do, well, I'm really excited about playing a proper game of Warhammer. Obviously, I will be doing Orcs because, well, I love Orcs. So guys, if any of you lot play Orcs, let me know what kind of team makeup I should probably go with. Because I really have no idea. I have started printing out loads of Orcs to make sort of readiness for an army. But I'm happy to sort of reprint or print out whatever it is I need. I do like vehicles, so yeah, helicopters, buggies and bikes, definitely have some of them in there, would be awesome. But yeah, definitely going to laser cut loads more bits and pieces as well. So guys, if you want to get a laser engraver, yeah, check out the link down below to the Creality Falcon Pro 2 as well. It's absolutely awesome. Just like this scatter terrain by Bilbo Stomper. I say there's loads more bits and pieces that they do, and I will definitely be downloading and cutting them out very soon. When it comes to painting it, yeah, I'm going to just do it the simple way, the quick way, the easy way, the normal way, should we say. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Apologies because it was another long video. For some reason, I'm not too sure why the videos seem to be getting longer and longer again. There will be some shorter ones where I'm just painting sort of single items. But obviously every now and then when I'm building something or making something big, then yeah, the video probably will be a bit longer. There'll be more waffle, more errors. But hopefully you guys will still enjoy it. Just have me on in the background. If you need to fall asleep, yeah, watch one of my videos. Okay, guys, I'm going to go now. Otherwise, I will carry on waffling. And it's already just reached the 20-minute mark. So, guys, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that great stuff. You guys take care. See you the next one. Bye for now.